If I could blow off work and spend the whole day reading this book, that's what I would do. That is how much I am enjoying this book at the moment. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're with Chris, and today I'll be bringing to you the first part of a brand new epic reading vlog, this time for Words of Radiance, the Stormlight Archive, book number 2 by Mr. Brandon Sanderson, who is fast becoming one of my favourite authors of all time. No joke guys, he is climbing the charts, and right at this moment he could be in my top 5. That is how much I'm enjoying his work. So let's kick off the vlog with what this book is about, taken from the back cover. Expected by his enemies to die the miserable death of a military slave, Kaladin survived to be given command of the royal bodyguards, a controversial first for a low-status Dark Eyes. Now he must protect the king and Dalinar from every common peril, as well as the distinctly uncommon threat of the assassin, all while secretly struggling to master remarkable new powers that are somehow linked to his honest friend Syl. The assassin, Szeth, is active again, murdering rulers all over the world of Roshar, using his baffling powers to thwart every bodyguard and elude all pursuers. Among his prime targets is High Prince Dalinar, widely considered the power behind the Alethi throne. His leading role in the war would seem reason enough, but the assassin's master has much deeper motives. Brilliant but troubled Shallan strives along a parallel path. Despite being broken in the ways she refuses to acknowledge, she bears a terrible burden to somehow prevent the return of the legendary Voidbringers and the civilization ending desolation that will follow. The secret she needs can be found at the Shattered Plains, but just arriving there proves more difficult than she could ever have imagined. Meanwhile, at the heart of the Shattered Plains, the Parshendi are making an epical decision. Hard pressed by years of Alethi attacks, their numbers ever shrinking, they are convinced by their ward leader Eshonai to risk everything on a desperate gamble with the very supernatural forces they once fled. The possible consequences for Parshendi and humans alike, indeed for Roshar itself, are as dangerous as they are incalculable. Incalculable. There, I got it right. So pretty much this book starts where the Way of Kings left off, which is really good, and it's all about this part 1 is all about setting the scene for all the future events to follow and laying some groundwork there with some new elements introduced. Now Shallan is on her way to the Shattered Plains to attempt to solve an ancient mystery. Kaladin is now captain in charge of Dalinar's protection detail, and there is a terrible threat out there that is coming. And there is some good context and background about the Parshendi, which is really interesting because we get the point of view from the leader of the Parshendi warband, Eshonai, which is really interesting. And she has a fairly decent chapter about her in the interludes that start after part 1. Now, as soon as I cracked this open, I couldn't get enough. I enjoyed The Way of Kings so much, and Mistborn Era 1 and Warbreaker and Elantris in between, that I've been looking for every excuse to just get a few pages read here and there before having a bit of a marathon at night time when I've got some time there to spend on it. But I just found I've fallen back into the world of Roshar very easily. Brandon Sanderson has weaved his spell and has dragged me in, and I am all in for this. And you look at the book and it's a 1300 page chunker. You could be forgiven for a first time reader as being intimidated by the length of the book. For me, it's not even an issue because I know I'm going to enjoy it, and I love the detail and the epic scope of these books. Now, the writing is spellbinding, and I've really been enjoying revisiting the characters and seeing what they're up to as their story arcs continue. I really love how Brandon Sanderson writes strong female characters, particularly Shallan. She has a lot of layers, and getting to know her a lot better. We got to know her pretty well in The Way of Kings, and with this one it's no different, and we're starting to see certain aspects of her personality starting to come through. On the surface she seems pretty vulnerable and meek and mild, but she has this gumption about her, which is a word I like to use for female characters because it's a quality I really admire in female characters, and that's starting to shine through right now. And she has this regal nature about her, and she's destined for bigger things, which is being hinted at all the time as time goes on. Kaladin's character here is explored in more depth, and we catch up with him and where he is at in his new role as captain of the bodyguards of Dalinar and the king. Now, it's a short part, this one. There's not too much to tell you at this point, but the interludes have been great. At the end of part 1, they go into a bit of detail. They show you a bit more about the world of Roshar with characters and different plant life and animal species and things like that, which I always find interesting. I'm fascinated by the interludes because you think to yourself, where is Brandon going with these interludes? Because he wouldn't write them for no reason. There has to be a reason he is writing them, and it's going to be interesting as the series goes on to see how these interludes connect with everything else, which is really, really fun. And I've really been enjoying those. And so basically that is all I have to say for part 1 of this vlog. I'm absolutely loving it. Part number 2 is about 200 odd pages, so watch for part 2, my part 2 video coming in the coming days, which I'll share some more thoughts and impressions with you as I get further into the book. But I'm absolutely smitten with the book, and I'm so glad I have read everything I needed to before starting this one, so I get some context around the Cosmere, so I'm prepared going in. And before starting Words of Radiance, I did just refresh myself with the Way of Kings by reading detailed chapters, as what chapter outlines and summaries, which helped me because I did forget a couple of things, and it just made the transition into the new book very, very smooth because I knew what was going on and that sort of thing. So there you go, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Watch for part 2 coming very soon, but happy to share these thoughts with you and compare notes. If you have read the book, drop me a line, offer up any comments below, and happy to engage you with those. But please don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always, I'll promise to deliver the best content I can. And until the next video, happy reading.